Hello students. Okay, so today I'm going to read you a short story from this whole brand new storybook which I've got just for you guys. Alright, so the whole compilation is called Monster Stories, as you can see here, and it is classic stories to treasure. So I hope you will treasure my voice reading this to you. These stories are compiled by Tick Thomas, and you may record this into your Nilam books. Okay, the first story is called The SEA-SERPENT by Pauline Johnson. To those of you who don't know what serpent is like a snake. Okay, this tale is told by an old American Indian. He described how one of his people became too fond of money and how God, the Great Spirit, turned him into a terrible monster. So this is actually a fantasy, or as you can say, this is some sort of like a legend story. It might be real, it might not be real.
Yes, it was during the first gold craze, and many of our young men went as guides to the white men far up the river. When the young men returned, they brought tales of greed and murder back with them, and our old people and our women shook their heads and said evil would come of it.
But all our young men, except one, returned as they went, kind to the poor, kind to those who were footless, sharing whatever they had. But one who was called Shak, which means the hawk, came back with hordes of gold nuggets. He was rich like the white men, and like them, he kept it. He would count his money, count his nugget, gloat over them, and toss them in his palms. He loved them better than food, better than his life.
The entire tribe arose. They said Shak had the disease of greed. To cure it, he must give a great feast, divide his rich with the poorer people, share them with the old, the sick, the footless.
But he jeered and laughed and told them no, and went on loving and gloating over his gold.
Then the Great Spirit popped out of the sky and said, Shak, you will not listen to the cry of the hungry, to the call of the old and sick. You will not share your possessions. You have disobeyed the ancient laws of your people. Now I will make you into a thing hated by all men.
You will have two heads for your greed and has two mouths to bite. One bites the poor and one bites your own evil heart. And the fangs in this mouth are poison. Your evil heart will beat in the very center of your foul body, and he that pierces it will kill the disease of greed forever among his people.
When the sun arose the next morning, the tribe's people saw a gigantic sea serpent stretched across the surface of the waters. The tribe's people were stunned with horror.
Ho, 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 ho. They loathed the creature. They hated it. They feared it. Day after day it lay there, its monstrous head lifted out of the waters, its mile-long body blocking all entrance to the sea. The chiefs made council, the medicine men danced and chanted, but the serpent never moved. After the chiefs and medicine men had done all in their power, and still the serpent lay across the waters, a handsome boy of 16 approached them and reminded them of the words of Great Spirit.
Let me try to find this evil heart, O great men of my tribe, he cried. Let me wage war upon this creature and try to rid my people of this greed.
The boy was brave. His tribe's people called him the Tinastai, little chief, and they loved him. He hunted food for the old people, and he tanned skins and furs for those whose feet were feeble and whose eyes were fading. You can see this is the boy and this is the chieftain. Let him go, cried the tribespeople. This unclean monster can only be overcome by cleanliness. This creature of greed can only be overthrown by generosity. Let him go. The chiefs and the medicine men listened, then agreed. Go, they commanded, and fight this monster with your strongest weapons, cleanliness and generosity.
The Tennessee turned to his mother. I shall be gone 4 days, he told her, and I shall swim all that time. I have tried all my life to be generous, but the people say I must be clean also to fight this unclean creature. While I am gone, put fresh furs on my bed every day, even if I am not here to lie on them. If I know my bed, my body and my heart are all clean, I can overcome this serpent.
Your bed shall have fresh furs every morning, his mother said simply. The Tennessee then stripped himself and with no clothing except a belt into which he thrust his hunting knife, he flung his young body into the sea. But at the end of 4 days he did not return. Sometimes his people could see him swimming far out in mid-channel, trying to find the exact center of the serpent where lay its evil, selfish heart. But on the 5th morning, they saw him rise out of the sea and greet the rising sun with outstretched arms.
Weeks and months went by, and still the Tennessee would swim daily searching for the heart of greed. Each morning the sunrise glinted on his body as he stood with outstretched arms greeting the coming day, and then plunging from the summit into the sea.
And at his home on the north shore, his mother dressed his bed with fresh furs every morning. The seasons drifted by. Winter followed summer, summer followed winter. But it was 4 years before the Tennessee found the center of the great sea serpent and plunged his hunting knife into its evil heart. That's the serpent. The serpent writhed, leaving a trail of blackness on the water. Its huge body began to shrink and shrivel. It became dwarfed and withered until nothing but the bones of its back remained, and they, sea bleached and lifeless, soon sank to the bed of the ocean. But as the Tennessee swam homeward and his clean body crossed through the black stain left by the serpent, the waters became clear and blue and sparkling. He had overcome even the trail of the serpent.
When at last the Tennessee stood in the doorway of his home, he said, My mother, I could not have killed the monsters of greed among my people had you not helped me by keeping one place for me at home, fresh and clean for my return. She looked at him as only mothers look. Each day those 4 years, I have laid fresh furs on your bed. Sleep now and rest, O my Tennessee, she said.
So the moral of the story is
Listen to your mother.
listen to your mother. Okay, that's all for tonight. Think of the moral of the story and what did you learn through this short story. Goodbye. See you soon.